Yeah, got it. Okay, so we're going to go through a quick PowerPoint. Oh, wait a second, sorry. Um, Mistake. We're gonna open up with Ted. Ted had a few words to say before we get going. Sorry. Go ahead, Ted.
So good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining this District Governor information session. We will be selecting our next district governor for our district in early November, and in early September, we'll be communicating out the forms, the process, the instructions, and the deadlines to apply to be our next district governor. So we wanted to have this information session for people who may be interested to apply this year, but also for people who maybe just want to understand what is a district governor, what do they do, and might have a potential interest in the future as well. Our nominating committee this year is chaired by our past district governor, Nalani Flynn, and I want to thank both her and Benson for organizing this evening's session so that we can give everybody the opportunity to learn more about being the district governor in our district. So hopefully we'll answer some questions tonight about things like what is a district governor? What does a district governor do? What skills and background should you have to be a district governor? How do you become a district governor? And what are some of the benefits and some of the challenges of being a district governor? You hopefully are aware at this point what a district is, but just in case you're not, in our case, we're called District 5000. In Rotary, our districts generally have somewhere, it's a collection of clubs that generally have in the range of 1,500 to 2,500 members. In our case, it's pretty simple and easy to remember because our district is district number 5000, and our territory or the area that we cover is the state of Hawaii. And of course, we are rolled up into a bigger organization in Rotary that's called a zone, and we are part of Zone 26. And that makes up a large part of the Western United States. The district governor, as you'll hear tonight, is responsible for the operations of the district, but just as importantly, the district governor is a leader. And leadership qualities, leadership practices include things like inspiring a shared vision, enabling others to take action, leading by example, encouraging others, and also challenging the process when you think you know a better way to do things. And increasingly in our district and other districts around the world, the district governor works as a team along with the district governor-elect and the district governor nominee to set multi-year goals and directions for the district. And that's something that we maybe didn't do as much in the past. So I'm thrilled that this evening we have an absolutely wonderful group of leaders in our district who have already served in this role. And I think they're really the best people to share their insights and wisdom. So with those few words of introduction, I'll throw it back to Benson. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. That was great. Appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna zip through a few slides here. I'll take the first few of them and then Naomi will kind of take it from there. So some basic information about district governorship. All right, so we're gonna cover district structure, a little bit about the job description, our panel tonight. As we're saying, Lori, Dell, Nalani, Randy, and Mark. We'll talk about the selection process and hopefully we'll have some time at the end for some question and answers. Okay, so our mission, you may or may not know it, is to provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, peace through our fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders, the mission of Rotary. So talk a little bit about our district structure. Basically, we've got about 1,400 Rotarians as of July 1st, 50 clubs, including 2 eco clubs, 5 satellite clubs, a couple of Rotaract clubs, 41 Interact clubs, community corps. A Rotary Club of Honolulu was our first club, chartered in 1915. Our district is made 48% female, 52% male. Here's the org chart, and thank Ted for this, because Ted's a colorful person, put a lot of colors in here. Now, we're not going to go over every one of these blocks, but suffice to say, it takes a lot of people to run the district efficiently. So we have, key people, our foundation, obviously, public image, our learning facilitators, our community service. So lots of positions in here. We'll talk a little bit more about all of them, our assistant governors for sure. Okay, next slide. Now, for Rotary International, the following district chairs, they serve a 3-year term. So District Rotary Foundation, our District International Service Chair, our membership chair, and our district new club advisor. And so the district governor, obviously with some help with the staff, assigns these people or asks these people to serve for a 3-year term. Next slide. And then there are several standing committees. I won't read all of them, but there's 11 of them here. Several of them, most of them are required by RI. And then there's some optional standing committees per RI. And a lot of you have been involved in these standing committees. And I think this is the point where Naomi takes over. Oh, wait a second. And district governor and the DLT, which is the district leadership team, which consists of these people that are listed there: foundation membership, public image, finance, and the district leadership team should meet at least quarterly. We've been doing it on Zoom more frequently as determined by the district governor. And the past district governor, we have an advisory council. This is the PDG Advisory Council. Their job is to advise the district governor on policy matters affecting the district. It's comprised basically of all PDGs, including the IPDG, which is the immediate past district governor, which would be Mark Merriam. The PDG Council holds at least 2 meetings each Rotary year, but could do more if they want to. Okay. Go ahead.
So these slides are very busy, and it's because we wanted to capture the information, but I won't go through all of them. These are from the Rotary International bylaws and also the policy manual, so you can look them up. But basically, at the time of the selection, the nominee will be called the governor nominee designate, okay, and assumes the title of governor nominee on July 1st, 2 years before they serve as governor. So there's a long time before serving as governor to prepare with a lot of training. There are mandatory training sessions that need to be done before someone can become a governor. So, when you think about all of the members, what the governor has to do, the governor is the official, our Rotary International executive. It's a CEO of a big corporation. We're not a small corporation. We've got a lot of clubs, a lot of members and family members, and a lot of layers to our district. Okay, so the person needs to be a member in good standing of a functioning club in the district. This is from the Rotary International bylaws. Serve as president of a club for a full term. Demonstrate willingness, commitment, abilities, physical and other, have other duties. Demonstrate knowledge and qualifications, duties, responsibilities of the governor. Okay, and when the governor takes office, they need to have attended the International Assembly in its full duration. We've heard stories where someone didn't, they played hooky, and so they got their luggage brought to them and they were asked to leave. So it's mandatory to go through that training. They need to be a Rotarian for at least 7 years at the time they take office. And they need to be a resident and have primary residence in Hawaii to be the governor of our district. So the duties of the governor, and this is from Rotary International bylaws, So it's organizing new clubs, of course, membership, foundation, advancing the object of Rotary and the things that Rotary says is important. So if you think of the position or a district like a franchise, we need to follow what the initiatives are of Rotary International. So continued duties, because there are a lot to do. It's monthly communication, is abiding by the direction of the board, the Rotary International Board, working with the clubs and being there regularly for running the district. Okay. So the role of the district governor-elect, okay, so the district governor is the chief executive officer of the district, but as the elect, the elect is attending training with the zone, with Rotary International, is conducting the spring assembly. So spring training assembly coming up in March and April. The DGE, Nancy, will be overseeing that training. Plan the district conference, look at qualifying the district for grants, making sure that we do our grant management training and we follow the stewardship rules of Rotary. Okay. So meetings on the above the district level, you got International Assembly, that's mandatory. It used to be GETS and NATS, and now it's GILS, Governor-elect Learning Seminars, and Governor Nominee Seminars. And then there's also recommended, okay, where did I go? So recommended would be the, okay, zone sessions, convention, council on legislation, regional training. So there's a lot of training that goes into this. And if you go to our Rotary manual for our district, and you'll find that on the district website at that URL, you can see what the requirements are for the district governor. Okay, so we do have a panel, and the panel are these 5 past district governors. As the first question that everyone will answer will be, and it's 1 minute each for this part, is what's the best memory that you have in your year as district governor? So let's start with Laurie.
Hi, so some of you may not know me. I'm from Kauai, and I was governor. My daughter was in, I guess, elementary school when I was selected, and middle school by the time I served, because it's a long period of time. And it was trying to figure out ways for me to include her because she was so young, and make sure that I didn't just abandon her for the whole year. And so what I had done was during my conference, I was able to have her do the Oli to open and then introduce me, which I was surprised she said yes, but she did. And then I couldn't talk because I was crying because, I was a mom. But that, I think, was one of the best memories for me. And it just goes to, for those who may or may not have younger ones and still have family, it's ways to try to find ways to involve your family.
And I'm Del. I think I'm up next. And I was governor in 2015-16, which happened to be our centennial year for where Rotary celebrated 100 years of service here in Hawaii. And the best memory that I have of my year was my club visits. They were really special to me. The opportunity to visit each of the clubs, to meet with the leadership, to meet with the members, to experience Rotary the way they present it, to get to know what their challenges are, to be able to discuss possible solutions, all of that. Those are memories that I cherish, and I kind of miss the days when we as a district weren't necessarily confined to Zoom, but we're actually interacting with one another on a regular basis through assemblies and what have you, because I totally believe in that that sharing of knowledge and that cross-pollination. So that was actually my most memorable event, or that was club visits.
Okay, it looks like I'm up. My year was in 2017-18, and I knew somebody was going to say what Dell did. So I prepared a second one, which was the Kahauike Village. There were plantation homes off of, oh gosh, I can't even think, Nimitz Highway. And what I enjoyed the most about that is meeting all the people from the different clubs coming together, just not Rotarians, only volunteers, schools, family members. And I got to learn and meet everybody and to watch the smile of the people's face on the day that they opened up the homes for the different people. That was chicken skin and teary-eyed. That's my 1 minute.
Good evening. Next up, Randy Hart from the Big Island, from Hilo. My best memory, there's so many, so really, really difficult to really kind of pick one. So along the lines of what Lori was talking about, if I had to pick a favorite, it was my district conference. It's the first time in Hilo in the 100+ year history of Rotary in Hawaii that we had a district conference in Hilo. We had 250+ attendees. So, it was just a great event. The fellowship, during the event is what really made it, and everybody coming together and celebrating their accomplishments, their awards. They worked so very, very hard throughout the whole year to accomplish. Just left me at the end of the year just feeling very, very good about what we were able to accomplish and to be able to share that with each the 250+ folks that showed up at the district conference.
Hi there, Mark Merriam here. I was district governor last year. And just following up on the others, it really is all about the people and the people that I got to meet and interact and work with, not just at their club meetings, but at district conferences and also at their service projects to see the incredible work that our members and clubs do in the community on a weekly, almost daily basis. It was phenomenal and just filled me up with joy and heartfelt appreciation for the work that Rotarians do in our community on an ongoing basis. That was really cherished memories that I'll keep forever.
Okay, so now each of our PDG panelists have a question that they want to answer. So 3 minutes for the question. Laurie, do you want to start us out with what were your challenges as a DG?
So I think, and mine was 11, 12. So some things were different, but not a lot. We had, I think for me, the diversity of the clubs and what the clubs needed. I mean, the role of the district governor is support the clubs, not to tell them what to do. It's the club's goals and it's the district leadership's ability to help them reach their goals. But the clubs themselves are so different, right? You got clubs that were struggling and might have had 12, 15 members. And that's not attendance, that's members, all the way to clubs over 100, right? So you have this diversity. You also have, as rural as we are as a state, we still have clubs in metropolitan Honolulu, right? Right in downtown, you have Rotary Club of Honolulu. And then you have Rotary clubs like by Volcano and, in Hanalei, and just all different types of locations, some a little bit more difficult to get to or farther, or the population they serve is smaller. So that diversity, and I remember we have some clubs that were, a lot of clubs had the basic club problems, right? Getting attendance, their venue is expensive, whatever, all of those, always not enough money, not enough manpower. But we had some clubs that were struggling with, I had one club that their treasurer stole their money. I had one club, and we don't have this anymore because in order to qualify for foundation grants, you have to do your taxes and you have to show that you have your taxes. But at one club, that their club's foundation, they lost their license because they didn't even realize they were supposed to do all these filings and whatnot. So there was a lot of, that range, I guess, of the types of assistance that the clubs needed. And I think that was the challenge for me is, as an individual, I know I don't know everything and I can't answer all those questions. So it's finding the right resource for those clubs. And sometimes that resource is not necessarily a Rotary resource, right? If somebody needs IRS help, we hopefully can find a CPA that's a Rotarian, because then they understand Rotary, but it has to be somebody who's qualified, right? So it's finding the right resources to help the clubs, but just the diversity of what the clubs need. And then also being from Kauai, opposite end of Randy, but if a club on the Big Island needed help, that's a far, long time to be able to get there. It takes a little while, right? So just that the distance, I think, of just because we're an island state, and so that was also sometimes an issue, but also fun. So, but I think that was mine, just the diversity of the needs of the clubs.
Benson, are you facilitating?
Oh, Del, and Del is next.
Okay.
Thank you. So my question is, how do you manage and motivate volunteer leaders? So I want to begin by saying that these are my views, and my views don't necessarily reflect the views of the district, my fellow PDGs. With that, I think that managing and motivating and leading volunteers can be challenging, but it can be a lot of fun. I would encourage people not to be a carpetbagger. I'm a big proponent of the governor not being somebody who you only meet once a year to ask you for money. I've had that happen in my Rotary experience. It did not go over well with me, and I took that to heart. And I think it's really important to really create relationships with the people who are going to be on your team and the people who you're going to lead in your governor year. It makes your life a whole lot easier. I would suggest that you be organized and develop challenging but attainable goals. And that you share those ideas as early as possible, because guess what? Not everybody's going to be on the same timeline as you. So I would encourage you to give your volunteers as much time as possible, and you'll find that it's not going to be enough time for some of them. It's just the way the world works, and you just got to go with that. I think it's important to be open, to be willing to share opportunities to create experiences for growth and for your team members as you're the governor. It's important, I think, to be a good communicator, to be able to not only communicate verbally, but also to be a good listener. I think some people have a habit of talking about themselves, which really doesn't go over well, at least in Hawaii, I think. And be patient. You just need to be patient with your volunteers. And I think it's important to be flexible and understanding things. The one certainty you're going to find out is that there's going to be change, and you need to be flexible enough to accept that change and deal with that change on the spot. Have some ideas on how you're going to deal with that, and be appreciative. I can't tell you how many times, you just can't show appreciation to your volunteers enough, because guess what? We're not paying them money. We all have other things we could be doing with our valuable time, and saying thank you is the one thing we can do, I think, and do it often. And I think another thing that's really important is to have fun. If you're motivating volunteers, I think they're more apt to be led by somebody who is having fun, somebody who's not stressed out, even though or at least showing stress when you're feeling stressed, somebody who they would want to be with and be led by. Paraphrasing an American poet by the name of Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on leading volunteers and motivating them. I turn it now over to Melanie.
Thank you. Thank you, Del. Well, my question was, how did you manage the time commitment and out-of-pocket expenses? Well, I'm going to read what I wrote so that I don't miss anything. I'm not as eloquent as my predecessor lawyer before me. Anyway, What I did was I watched the current and PDGs manage their schedule of being governor, which gave me an eye view of what was expected and started strategizing how to accomplish all that was required. As a retiree, I was a widow, I was a minister. My family gave me the support and encouragement to serve Rotary in a bigger way, and that has really changed my life. Rotary was a family for me, and so that really helped me as far as keeping to the commitment, because once I had said yes, I said, oh my gosh, what did I do? Too late to step back, but all you can do is just move forward and get the best people that you can to be on your team to help you to juggle all this schedule and everything else, and those that are smarter than me who can make me look good. So that's how you can help with your commitments. The other thing was out of pocket. I knew there would be out of pocket expense, and I set aside money to attend as many club meetings and social fundraiser events. All your training and obligated functions were covered by the district budget, but not putting yourself out there, working side by side, supporting clubs, getting to know them. My song for my year was getting to know you, getting to know all about you. And that's the best part. Thank you.
Thanks, Nalani. Okay, next question goes to Randy. How did you
All
get
right,
ready? for
thanks,
this, Randy?
Vincent. Yeah, the question that I took was, how did you prepare to be a DG? First, I have to say, wasn't so much about what I did to prepare to be a DG. It's everything that the district and RI did to prepare me to be a DG. And all of my DG counterparts know how much training that we all go through, starting at DG&D time and through the DGN year and DGE year, and it's a training event after training event after training event. So all the training was there for me, and attending Zone Institute, as was mentioned earlier, mandatory requirement. Being picked as an ERL to emerging Rotary leader to attend Zone Institute prior to me getting selected as DG&D. And PETS was, totally awesome. But if I had to capture all of that, and the single most important preparation that I did was through the district training. We have the best district training in the zone, I think, by far, and maybe all the best district training in all of North America. So the prep, they lead you through all of it to get you ready for that year, for whenever your boots hit the ground on July 1, and you're off in this wonderful sprint to visit all your clubs and try and make things happen. The one thing that I did do in prep that I think served me very, very well is I became laser focused on membership. Membership was my number one priority. I don't think there was a PE of the 53 clubs that we had at the time that didn't know what my number one priority was. And the second thing that, I think I did in preparation to be DG, and it tied into PETS, was to get those presidents, those PEs to enter their goals. Once you get the PE to commit to a number or what their goal is going to be, then you're off to the races. So I think those were the things that were primary for me in preparation to being a DG, along with building that team. I think my AG team was very, very strong. I engaged them very, very early, got them to be a part of the team and for them to know that they were a critical part of the team.
Cool,
That's it.
Randy, thanks. That's great. Okay, Mark, last question goes to Mark. Go ahead.
Okay, I was challenged with the question of how do you keep it all moving forward? And that is a challenge, and I'll bounce it right back to Lori as you talked about the diversity of our clubs and the unique differences and autonomy of each one of our clubs, and that our work as a district resource person is to support what's happening at the club level. But at the same time, we want to move the district as a group forward and to give our clubs challenges. That's a tough one. It's supporting clubs and getting them to move towards their own goals seemed to be the best strategy as we went through this past year, is really to help clubs try to reach their own goals. Part of it is to be flexible and adaptable. We obviously had no anticipation that 45 days after the year started, the Maui wildfires would take place. That became an immediate priority for all of us in the district, in particular, myself and the District 5000 Foundation. And so that need to be adaptable and flexible to help the district move forward is a unique skill set that, you know, we get a lot of training through Rotary of how to be a governor, but the skill set for emergency management is something I did not come to the position with and needed to figure out really, really quickly to try and help folks move forward and to see some results from money that was raised with the Maui fires and to make a difference in the Maui communities as a result. So it's really being flexible, it's being adaptable, it's acknowledging the autonomy of our clubs. I think maybe as I was getting ready to be governor, I thought that I could have a grandiose plan that everybody would buy into to move forward. And that's really not what happens. What we need to do in district leadership is to help our clubs be successful and help them keep members and help them bring in new members and raise money and get involved with projects. So to move the district forward, we have to move our clubs forward. The other part would be to surround a core leadership group as a district governor that you can rely on and depend on to carry out the goals and to move the committees forward. I attended a whole lot of committee meetings over the past year, and just being engaged and knowing what our committees are doing on a monthly level or more frequently with the chairs. I think that helps move the district forward too. Supporting and being a cheerleader a little bit, that's important to help committee chairs and to encourage them and to acknowledge them. Somebody else mentioned the need to say thank you over and over. That's important to move the district forward too. So all those things combined, I think, helps committees and helps our clubs move towards their own goals and to make sure that everybody feels good about it. Even a small club bringing in a brand new member became a huge accomplishment for that club because they had not had a new member for a couple of years. Acknowledge and be okay with that, and because that helped move that club forward. And as every club moves forward, the district does move forward. So all those things in combination, having a good attitude, being a cheerleader, acknowledging the differences of our clubs, and being flexible and adaptable. I think all of that's pretty important to keep a district moving forward. And then to have a succession of leadership. Nobody's mentioned yet our DG line. And it was so important for me. So it went Sandy, Randy, Mark, Ted, and the four of us met regularly. And then it became we added on after Ted Nancy, and now we have Benson as part of the DG line, and we're now meeting every 2 weeks so that it becomes a mind meld of senior leadership within the district so that we know what each other is thinking. And that really helps move a district forward too, by being together and talking through issues and coming up with best decisions. I think that DG line has been really helpful for our district as it has gelled and super helpful to me last year. Thank you.
Okay, Mark, thanks a lot. Great, great answer. So we're supposed to do another round of questions, but I want to get to the selection process because that's an important piece of this. And then we've got lots, so then hopefully we'll have some time afterwards, so some of you can ask some questions as well. So Naomi, can we go to that now?
Sure. Okay, selection process. So here are the dates again. So September 26th or thereabouts, the notice will go to the club presidents by Ted and Nalani. November 4th is a closing date for the application to be submitted. And we need to have it submitted. So if someone mails it, we don't get it, and it's past the date, sorry, it's got to be in by November 4th. November 9th is the interview, and we're calling each one in individually to go through the interview process. So we have a set of questions to ask. November 9th, we notify the district, and then there's a 15-day challenge period. So November 24th is the date that ends the challenge period. So the forms that need to be submitted will be forwarded by Ted. So there are two. There's a questionnaire and a form from Rotary International that need to be submitted. The form from Rotary International needs to be signed by the club president. So that means the club needs to support that nomination. Nominating committee is 9 people, 5 of the most recent past district governors who reside in Hawaii, then 4 past presidents, 1 from each of the counties, major counties, and they're selected at a random process at a district meeting overseen by AGs. And the people in that pool to be selected are clubs that participated in the awards program, like Club of the Year, Club of Excellence, Club Service Awards. It's those clubs that have participated in that recognition program. Okay, so the nominee needs to be an active member residing in the district. Okay, so per our policy manual, it says any effort to influence the selection process in a positive or negative way by campaigning, canvassing, electioneering, or otherwise is prohibited under the policy manual. And I know we want to do that because we're seeing all of these Harris people and Trump people do this, right? So that is the rule. We can't campaign. So then we've got questions. So Benson, do we want to take questions?
Okay, anybody in the gallery want to offer up a question? Otherwise, we got a whole bunch of questions. We can keep asking questions, but we'd love for you guys to ask questions if you can. So you can either raise your virtual hand or just unmute yourself and go for it. Go ahead, Sonia.
Okay, I guess I'm going to see, I would like to direct this to, okay, I'm trying to see everybody here. To, okay, Randy Hart, okay. I know that there's always a certain degree of apprehension that any leader goes through whenever they feel that they want to create some type of change within a district that's done certain things this way. But if you could have changed one major thing in the district during your term without any fear of failure, what would that be?
Well, that's kind of a tough one. geez, you know, I had a pretty good year. You know, if there was one thing that, you know, I could get a do-over on, it would have been, and I put a lot of effort into putting together my district team. I would have probably done things a little bit differently. You know, for the district team to make sure that that everybody that was on the team was all pulling in the same direction. I think for the most part, we did pull in the same direction, but there's always you know, the challenges out there that of those. So I'm not sure if that answers your question, Sonia, but that one's a good one.
Okay, thank you. Benson, you're muted.
Go ahead, Bev.
Oh, thank you all for this. This has been great, very informative, and really appreciate being a part of this group. But my question is what is the most critical accomplishment to strive for in the first 90 days as a district governor?
All right. Who would like,
Anyone?
yeah, who would like to take that one? Dell, how about you? Where's Dell? Is Dell still here? No.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. In the first 90 days, the thing that I was trying to do was to get through my club visits. I know some people do a little bit differently, but for me, it was important to bang it out because it gave me an opportunity to meet with the clubs and get them going. I think we kind of lose that. We need to get that momentum early on. So it requires a lot of planning logistically so you can group clubs together, because when you go to different islands, you want to make sure that you can bang out as many as possible. I'm pretty sure I got most of mine done around 90 days out.
Right. Great. Thanks a lot. Christopher, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yes, my question is, it's likely that I will be on a flight to Azerbaijan on the 9th of November. And so if I was to put an application in, is there going to be any flexibility around that date? I would be probably representing COP29 with Stephanie Urchek.
Yeah, Chris, your audio's coming over a little bit garbled, but it sounds like you said you're going to be on a plane going somewhere on November 9th. Is that correct?
Yes, to Azerbaijan. It looks like 9th of November we're flying.
Okay, anybody want to answer that on the nominating committee? Nalani, has that ever been an issue where somebody couldn't actually make the in-person interview?
Yes, it did happen on my watch. And so what we were able to do is do a Zoom and interview with her, and it worked out just fine.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Chris?
The flight's going to be about 26 hours. So
okay, well, we can get to before you get on the plane or so.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem. Any other questions there before we go to our stock questions? No? Okay. All right. Well, so here's the advice time. So if you were gonna give advice to somebody who is applying for the position, what would that advice be? And I wanted to engage our other two PDGs that are on the call here today, Sandy and Roz. So Sandy, how about you? What's your advice?
Sorry, Benson, was it what is my advice to those that are considering to apply for
Yes,
for
right.
DG?
What advice would you give them?
Let's see, advice. You know, this is when you become a DG, and in fact, preparing to become a DG, it's going to be your life. It's going to be your life for probably a good 3 years plus. So I think you just get ready for it, enjoy the ride, and just be as positive as you can, And like Mark said, we have to be adaptable and flexible for things we did not anticipate or get trained for, like COVID and a pandemic hitting during your term, right? But it's going to be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. And I think you take all of the good with the challenges, and it's all good.
Okay, Sandy, thanks. Roz, what's your advice?
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me? I don't have a speaker or anything.
Yep,
The
we're
advice
good.
I would give is to take it all in, relax, enjoy it, get to know the people that surround you, get to know the clubs, get to be a part of it, get to be a part of what they're doing, and have them be a part of what you're doing, a part of the conversation, a part of the decisions you might be making that affects them. Just take it all in and enjoy it. More than anything, enjoy it.
Can I add something, Benson?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
One of the things that I did, besides, of course, you have to be a president, and then you serve at the district level so you can gain as much knowledge as possible. And this is when you're just thinking of applying, right? Not once you're selected. I found that talking to past district governors, they cannot be district governors who are going to be on the panel, obviously, because then that's lobbying. But talking to various past district governors, or even before, like right now, you don't know who's on the panel. So just talk to a few people. If they know they're probably going to be on the panel, they'll tell you. And then, getting your questions answered. And then I was lucky enough to have a PDG in my club that was like a mentor to me. So anytime I got stuck, anytime. And actually, he also was very nice, and he gave the club $2,000 so that if I needed money to do something like host a, reception, like a hospitality room or something, that's where the money came from. So for those who are thinking this is too expensive for me, there are other ways to do it as well.
Okay, thanks, Lori. So hey, we didn't hear from PDG Naomi, so what's your advice, PDG Naomi?
So much. It's not just the 3 years before to do the training, as Nancy, as Sandy alluded to, there's also, all of us are PDGs, but we're still working for the district. So it's not you're DG and you're done. It's Rotary has invested so much training dollars in you, and all that knowledge that you got in running the district, in engaging people. It's also the years after as a PDG. So it is a very big commitment, and it's supporting this amazing organization that we have, that what our clubs do, what our members do is just, we're there to support the club. So it's a pyramid. So my advice is, remember that it's a pyramid with the clubs at the top of the pyramid. We're here to support them.
Okay, great answer. Sounds like you rehearsed that. So how about our sitting district governor now? Ted, you went through the entire process, several years. So what does it feel like now to be sitting in the seat? And what about all that lead up to where you are today, and how does that all come together?
So I think the training and support is key, both from the people in our own district and the past district governors, and the wisdom and insights that they share, and the formal training that we do across the zone. You also meet these wonderful other people who are your peers, who are the district governor in other districts in our zone, and those people actually become your lifelong friends. And they're also your lifeline. We have a very active WhatsApp group that if any one of us has a question, an issue, a problem, we post it out to the group, and somebody in the group always has an answer or has some advice for us. So there is this whole network of support even outside of our district that you tap into as you go through this process and develop those relationships. Somebody else talked about relationships, and I do think that's key. I've tried to invest a lot of time in going out to the clubs, in my DGE year, just so I got to have a feel for what the clubs were like, and so that they could see me once before I showed up for an official DG visit, and really understanding the differences in the clubs and how can we help each club kind of where they are, but also trying to share a vision and some direction for us all to move forward together. And that's one of the things in Rotary I think we need to be very conscious of is we want to honor the past, but we want to create the future. And many of you have heard me talk in different club sessions and training sessions that our founder 100 years ago had the forethought to say Rotary exists in a changing world, and Rotary will have to evolve and change multiple times with that changing world. And so we need to keep that in mind at our district level and in our club levels of what is the future of our club? What is the future of our district? And how can we work together toward that vision of the future?
Okay, great, Ted. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. So Nancy, you're next up, you know, in the DG line. So you and I were just on a training call today. So what's going through your mind now as you're getting ready to be the district governor next year, and what advice can you give the group here tonight?
I would probably say clear your calendar early. I a year plus ago, or now seems so long ago, I was recognized to become the district governor, and I made plans to literally sell off my 40-year-old company, and it's taking me longer to get that done. That'll be done probably by February of this coming year. But I'm sort of amazed at how much training, the time it's taking for all the training. There are so many Zoom meetings and so many assignments to go with those Zoom meetings, and so many Zoom meetings, and I've got it on the district level, and I've got it, I've got it on the zone level, like the 2 to 3 today, and now the 6 to 7 tonight. And then I've got it on our district level, and then I'm still involved in my club. So it's like, you know, well, gee, if I had an extra 60 hours, I could just do nothing but Rotary all week long. And I'm going to be, I keep planning on being more ready, but I'm kind of amazed at the amount of time I spend already. And so I'm trying to let go of the things I can and get beyond those so I can absolutely dedicate more, because there's a whole lot to get ready for right now to attend all of those things. Plus, I'm looking for people to help serve on my board of directors, and for my, you know, presidents, making who are all the president-elects of all the clubs that are still not done. And I've got some AGs I still have to find for my 25, 26 year. So there's so many things to do on all these different levels. So I think make sure you know you've got a lot of time. And I have a feeling that 5-10 years ago, I don't think you had as many Zoom meetings, all you past district governors, you know, because they didn't have Zoom going on all the time. And it is constant. And thank God, because also on our district, you, Benson, and Naomi have all of those wonderful training sessions. And then RI has so much in their website too to take care of with help with training. So to do it all, I could probably be about 100 hours a week right now, do nothing but Rotary, and still not be the governor yet. So be ready, because to do it right. And I'm sure I'll always be able to do better. But anyway, get ready.